It's Daniel Webb here. Haven't been here in a long time, you know. Feeling a little rusty, but it's all right. I'm here to talk some stuff.
By the way, I'm recording. I'm leaving that in. All right, guys, what's up? We're here from Game Club today. As you heard it from Daniel here, we're here to talk to you guys today and just share some of the topics that's been on our mind lately, including stuff that's happened in the world, like the release of the PS5 and the new Xbox Series X. I'm Anthony, and let's get
I'm
right into
Daniel.
this.
Yeah.
You get to
So
go ahead.
that PS5, what a chunky boy. I don't know if you've seen the picture, but it's some dude who's in the manufacturing plant and he's just holding it, and it's like pretty much the size of his torso. It's a big chunkin' boy. It's I don't get it. They make it look so like, space age and very divisive, let's just put it at that, you know? And they make it so huge, it's gonna stick out. They said they designed it so it can, oh yeah, it can flush right into any home. No, this is gonna stick out like a big chunkin' boy.
Yeah,
I don't understand it.
it's become really interesting. I think that with the PS5, I've seen all the memes of the PS5 looking like a Wi-Fi router and the Xbox
It
Series
does.
X looking like a refrigerator. It's like, I wonder how much money and how much they're expecting consumers to pay for this with the designs that they're given. Especially like, I've been doing some research into it, like accordingly to them, to Microsoft and Sony, that the digital editions are better for the consumer and it's cheaper, but it comes at the expense of the CD drive. So it's like all the past memories
Yeah.
that you had from playing other games and the backwards compatibility of consoles are kind of, you have to pay an extra $100 to get that backwards compatibility back, and it's like that's kind of rough for the price tag that they're putting on it.
Yeah, it is, but I'm sure down the line there's going to be some sort of compromise, like they're going to have an external disk drive or something, just something, because like the games nowadays, there's barely any data on it. Most of the data is from the first update that you install onto your system. So, you know, it's really just for that Blu-ray support, that extra $100. It's not going to do that crazy much, like it's gonna when you if it's gonna have backwards compatibility, which it should have, right? I'm not sure about it, but uh, you should be able to just put your PS3 disc or PS4 disc and it should just work.
Yeah,
So the way they do that for most times is you just put it in and then it downloads the game from whatever the PlayStation Store because it's just more efficient that way.
I just say real quick about the download sizes. Call of Duty Warzone with the 70 gigabyte updates.
Yeah. It's because they release the game and then finish it later. You see, it's a common con trick within the gaming world.
Oh, dude, every time I see that, I feel so bad for the people who have it, because like that's kind of insanity. I play Siege, and I would think that 30 gigabyte, 40 gigabyte downloads are bad. When I hear like 100 gigabyte, 75 gigabyte downloads, I'm like, Jesus, that is horrible.
Yeah, dude. And the AAA developers, they've been like hypnotizing us to think it's okay, but it's not. I need my drive. I need some space, man. Come on.
But yeah, I mean, like, I think that's going to be a very big difference for consumers when it comes to having the OG CD drive consoles and the digital model. Digital model does
I
seem a lot more convenient.
I think the digital item is going to be the item of Christmas. It's going to be sold right off the shelf just because that $100 difference. Because they had a leak in Amazon
Oh
and
yeah.
they released the price and it was going to be like 550 and 450 for the respective systems, and that's a big difference, especially in the consumer mind, like the
Yeah.
parent's mind. That's so huge.
Yeah, dude, I
But
definitely see that.
did you hear about the rumors for the Xbox, their lesser down one?
Oh no, I didn't actually. What is it?
Because so they announced the Xbox Series X, which is the big honking refrigerator, right?
Yep.
But there's the rumor of the Xbox Series S, which is smaller and it's like less performance and it's going to be all digital, but it's way cheaper. You know how much the price they say it's going to be? Just from the rumors, just from people talking,
How much?
from trusted rumors. No, $200.
What? No, that
Dude, imagine at that price, you could buy the console, buy a game, and it would be cheaper than the Nintendo Switch when it initially launched.
wait, like that's launch price?
Imagine.
Launch price. That's $200.
Yes.
That is
But it's it's
insanity.
it's it's basically going to be a refrigerator that's cut in half. It's going to have no disk drive and it's going to have not nearly as much power, but it's going to get you by,
Oh
which is
yeah. I
that is going to be so huge if that rumor is true. Like,
That might tempt me
oh,
to buy a console. I haven't bought a console back since the PS3, and I mean, even then, like, I honestly, this comes out for a big win for consumers, and honestly, even for Sony or sorry, for Microsoft, like $200 on launch price. I think that might be the cheapest console release price to date. Like, I think
dude, I know.
Nintendo Switch was
I
two
don't
ninety nine.
exactly. That's what I'm saying. You'd be able to buy this console and a $60 game, and it would be cheaper than the Nintendo Switch. And that's wild. That's
Yeah,
wild to consider. The amount of options this generation is going to have is ridiculous. And I oh, if like because people are like, oh, how is Xbox going to respond to the PlayStation event? Because they came out pretty strong with the whole all digital. Because everyone was doing the rumors that Microsoft was going to have it, but PS5 came out and said, yeah, we have it before they even announce it. You know, so just
yeah.
like I guess Xbox is just gonna have to pull out the bigger cards. Like, oh yeah, well ours is $200. Try to compete with that.
What do
You
you
know?
Now that you say that though, what do you think in terms of the console? Like, which one is the better one? It's always that debate, you know. And I've just been looking at both of them. They both have their ups and downs. Like I've seen, PS5 is considered better for storage and space, and the Xbox One or the Xbox Series X is going to be considered stronger for its power. And it's like looking at that, you know, like I was looking at the PS5 speculations and specifications, and it was like it's going to be able to run at 120 frames per second on a console, which is unheard of. I don't know if Xbox is planning on hitting those same amount of frames, but that type of stuff is unheard of.
Yeah, yeah, but it I've heard in interviews from some of the like people who've worked on the games is that they're gonna try to develop the games with two modes. One with super high FPS mode, but like lower graphics, but then super high graphics and then 30 FPS. You know what I mean? There's gonna be a big trade off within games with with the big 120. But that is crazy and that is cool that we're stepping towards that. You know, because games these generations are usually capped at 60/30. But you know, to be able to go that extra bit, to be able to like for consumers to be like, you know what, I'm gonna finally go in for that 144 hertz, you know, monitor because now it's worth it. You know,
Yeah, they
it's
finally caught up to the PC master race, as people usually
oh
say.
yeah, for like 1 week. All right, hold your horses. All right.
For the people who have the poop computers that don't do the job, dude. Oh,
I know. People look at like console players look at the price and the like look of it, and they're like, "Whoa, oh my god!" And then PC players are like, "Yeah, and
yeah, for that value though,
like
even looking at it honestly, like consoles, I think the consoles are good because they always have their own console releases. Like I don't think that the new Amazing Spider-Man game that was released on PS4, it was like a specific release for it, isn't on PC and it's hasn't ever come to
it's
Xbox.
dude, that game is so popular too.
Yeah,
It is a really good game. I have it. It's really good.
yeah, and it's like, you know, I see those upsides to console, you know, and like I miss playing console, honestly. Having a PC is great, having those high frames is awesome, but there comes, you know, the nostalgia of being able to play these games and being able to only play these games on console.
Yeah, yeah, those games are fun. And there's some games that I just prefer on console too, like platformers. Because I don't know, I just like holding a controller and just like chilling on a couch somewhere. You know?
Yeah. Uh, I think it's gonna be interesting how the hype for the PS5 and Xbox Series X are gonna build up because we are still in quarantine. If we're still in quarantine by the time that they release it, their sales their sell their release sales are gonna spike. Like I can see it
Yeah.
being crazy just because it's like with the Nintendo Switches, when quarantine first started, everybody wanted to get their hands on a Switch.
Yeah, and on Animal Crossing, just because it was such convenient timing, you know?
Yeah, they were really smart with that release time too, honestly. Like everybody was trying to just find their hands on Animal Crossing, and the Animal Crossing Switches too. They were like $400 just to switch with the Animal Crossing design, and that they were sold out.
Yeah, it's just because, like, first the original Nintendo Switches came out, and they're like, well, the only ones they have in stock is Animal Crossing, so why not? And then those go sold out just as quick, and it's like, wow. Nintendo's always done that whenever they have a release, or just when, like, big influxes of purchases of their products. They always sell out. It happened with Amiibos. It happened like with the Wii U. Happened with the Switch when it first came out. They're just they're just not good at that. And I've been thinking too to step away from that. What is Nintendo going to do? How are they going to respond to these new consoles?
Yeah,
Because we're getting to a point where the Switch is going to be not be able to have the horsepower to do anything.
yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it's definitely gonna be interesting to see what Nintendo tries to take, how they're gonna approach the PS5, the Xbox Series X, or even the Xbox Series S consoles. Like, I think that the Switch was probably one of their best consoles to date. Not best selling, but best consoles.
It's close to reaching best selling. It's close to surpassing the Wii, which is in which is it's incredibly impossible to think just because of like the Wii's lifespan and how much
Yeah.
it actually sold, you
Has it
know?
has it
And
surpassed the
and
DS?
I think so.
Oof.
I think it's the best Nintendo handheld ever sold. Like I don't think yeah, I think the only thing that's stopping it now from being the number one best sold console of Nintendo is the Wii, I believe. I might be completely wrong about that. Let me know in the comments,
Let us know in the comments down below. Leave us a dislike if we were wrong. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Don't leave us a dislike. Leave us a like, please.
please. We're struggling here, please.
I mean, best handheld console, at least in my personal opinion, has to be the Nintendo DS. But that's probably because it had years of development with the amount of games that it has on it. Like, um,
That's my reasoning for thinking the PS or not the what am I saying? The 3DS is the best console because it's basically like you get a giant 3DS library plus DS.
yeah, that is
Like
very true. It's like basically backwards compatibility. I think that's probably one of the only consoles besides the Wii U and the Wii U that's has backwards compatibility coming from Nintendo.
the DS did. Um, I know you could. They had weird attachments, like you could play Game Boy games on a Super Nintendo and on a GameCube as well.
Oh,
But
yeah, dude, I remember
they
now.
they yeah they had those attachments, but it was never like in the base console that they had backwards compatibility.
I about to say now
They
that you
they'd rather just resell it to you.
now that you mentioned Game Boy, Game Boy was one of the bigger ones too with the DS, the original that had a Game Boy slot at the bottom.
Yep, that too. Yeah,
I completely forgot about that. I used to play Super Mario on the DS when I had the Game Boy slot. That's crazy.
yeah. The game was amazing. Just because I love it when they do that, because it's like then imagine as a kid, going to the store and they always have a whole bunch of 3DS games because they always sold like crazy, and there's always people coming in and selling them. So there's always pre-owned like handheld games, and they're cheap. They're cheap as hell. So as a
Yeah.
kid, it's just like you can get a whole bunch of games at a like consistent price, and it's awesome.
Yeah, it really is, honestly. I remember as a kid, I would mainly buy the DS. Kids don't do this if you hear this. I would buy a DS. I remember my dad would go somewhere down in like LA and he would get me an R4 cartridge. Had all the games on it, and as long as I legally owned some of the games, at least the games that I played, I couldn't get arrested for it. So it was really
It
uh
was really awesome.
yeah, honestly, I remember that was when I got the R4, that was the first time I'd ever played GoldenEye.
Hmm,
That was the first time I'd ever
interesting.
played it, and I think that was also the first time when I decided to play Pokemon Black, Pokemon White, because I'd never bought in the game cartridges. The only Pokemon games that I decided to buy cartridges for were Heart Gold and Pearl.
Hmm. I always bought the games because I was a naive child. But even nowadays, I still buy games like old games sometimes because it's just nice having the box. I don't know. It's some not like collector in me, but just I just like having the game art. You know.
Yeah,
I don't know
I feel you. I feel you. Actually, I really liked.
that.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I really like the game design box on Heart Gold, with Ho-Oh just on the front on it, and a little
Yeah,
design.
yeah,
I
yeah.
really love that one. I think that one's one of the game boxes that I miss the most because it just had such a genuine design. And I remember when I got Pokemon Shield, it had a similar design, and I was like, they're starting to bring these back. I'm really liking this.
And then you played the game. What a disappointing nightmare.
Honestly, it's really sad seeing those uh what happens in games like those compared to when you compare it to Omega's Oras, Omega Ruby, Alpha
Dude,
Sapphire.
that game is so awesome.
I love
It's
it.
such it's like it's awesome with just like the game it was based off of and just content.
Yeah,
Just
on
new content.
the legendaries, the portal stuff with Hoopa and all that. Like I really like that, and I think it was a peak where I don't know if Nintendo was feeling generous because we didn't have to pay any extra money for it, but it was a really
Yeah.
good way. Like we all were able to enjoy ourselves. Trading was great in that game. Like I remember that I think that was the game where I got Deancey and I traded over a level 100 Arceus over for it, and it was like, these are some of the best times. But now in Pokemon Shield, you find yourself where you have to pay to get extra content instead of it already being available. And it always makes me come to think, what about the unbalance if you ever do online Pokemon battles or even in competitive online Pokemon or competitive Pokemon battles, LAN pro players, like how is that going to work out if people don't buy DLC? They don't have access to other Pokemon or even other specific legendaries that might be broken.
Yeah, it's very weird that they're like de-evolving the game and doing weird business practices with it. Like maybe they should have just kept the Pokemon to like a free update. So like, in the base game, you could find those Pokemon now. There's a new influx of them in, some certain region. Go out and find them. That would be cool. But no, you can only find them in the armor aisle or whatever it's called. You can't. It is very buy to win and gross. I
Yeah.
don't like it, Nintendo.
I was
Like,
Did you hear about the new brushing your teeth app that they're gonna release that has some
yeah,
involvement with
Pokemon
Pokemon?
Smile.
Yeah.
Dude, why? Okay, yeah, let's talk about the Pokemon Direct because that was jarring for me. It was just like, yeah, Pokemon Smile, and it's like, oh, okay, I don't have to take this thing seriously.
I'm gonna be
And
honest.
then it's like, Pokemon Snap, and everyone just lost their minds, just lost their minds so hard. I lost my mind, like 6 in the morning. I'm just freaking out,
I think
and I'm not.
every Pokemon
Ugh.
fan walked into that direct hoping that they would finally make a Sinnoh remake for their life. I think that's what every Pokemon fan has been asking for at this point because it's one of the only games that hasn't gotten a remake to this date. And I saw Pokemon Smile and I was like, Jesus, who are you guys trying to sell to kids anymore? Like, you guys are.
They are, dude. They're like going into the app market. They're fluxing into the app market, and it's weird. Like you see Pokemon Cafe.
Oh no, I haven't.
It's just another generic puzzle game. Like the art looked really cute and nice. I like the art in it, but then it's just a generic puzzle game. And I'm like, wow, Nintendo's really maybe it's just a slow year because of the quarantine and everything. Because I know in Japan they're having a rougher time with like workflow and stuff and like working from home. But I don't know. Really don't know.
Yeah, I see. When I went into the Nintendo Direct or the Pokemon Direct, I was like, oh my God, what is happening? Pokemon Smile, so I get to brush my teeth and I get rewarded a Pokemon for it. How does this work? Why is this a thing? Like, you can't.
It's clearly for children, and if I was a kid, I'd probably love it. But
See, that's the thing too. I think
I'm I'm an adult now. Nintendo has to please my feelings.
I think
At least that's what the whole fan base thinks.
well, I mean that is one of the most. I think that's why old people love old Nintendo because when they released games like Heart Gold, Soul Silver, like it was entertaining even for adults. You could
No, yeah, they're treating it, like there's these legacy of games, and some people start at the very beginning of the legacy and try to go all the way to the end, and the legacy should keep evolving. But now it's like they have to redo Pokemon Red and Blue. They have to keep doing these weird things to kind of refresh and reboot the franchise to a newer playing field by dumbing it down, and it's saddening.
Yeah, it really is too. Like I feel like they've kind of lost design after all these Pokemon games. Like um, I don't know if it's just me. Every time that I look at it, I'm like, oh, Galarian. I mean, they look cool, but all you did was slap over the name Galarian, and then it's just the same Pokemon.
Well, no, I think the Galarian Pokemon, like when Sun and Moon came out and they did the other forms of Pokemon, honestly, what I thought was like, oh, that's an ingenious idea. Because then it makes the game world more realistic for, the different regions having different evolved Pokemon. It makes it more enriched. At least I thought that,
I can see that.
I was,
Yeah, that is very
and it
true.
was and it's like, okay, well, maybe instead of coming up with a crappy design, like a set of keys or an ice cream cone or a literal trash that you would throw on the side of the road. Yep, that's a Pokemon. Like it's much better when they make they're now Vulpix is ice type. That's cool and it's still cute.
Casually just called out some Gen 5 Pokemon like Vanillux.
Hey, yes, I'm coming for you, Vanillux. I will eat you. You will be consumed.
Honestly, thinking like of all these Pokemon releases and all the things that have happened, I have to say that I think most of the gens have been fantastic. Like Gen 1 through Gen 5, I think they all had good Pokemon designs. I loved the starters, like, and even
I
like
think,
the new
yeah,
games. Like I heard everybody loved. I don't know Incineroar's prior evolution, but I know everybody loved it.
Litten, and then I forget the middle evolution, but yeah.
Yeah, like everybody was like, "Whoa, that's pretty cool," you know. And it's like it's cool seeing stuff like that. I wonder if with all this Pokemon and all this variety, they'll ever try something on the Switch again, similar to the Wii. Did you ever play like I don't know if it's called Pokemon Battle Royale, but it was like you go through. I'm sure it's not Pokemon
Yeah,
Dungeons.
I remember those games. It was like you're a Pokemon trainer still, but it was more like a
Wait,
actual story and
I
stuff.
remember. It's called Pokemon Rumble. Um,
Oh, no, no, no. I'm talking about a completely different thing.
I remember now. It was Pokemon Rumble. Honestly, I really liked the game and how you basically play through as a Pokemon. Like, I'm pretty sure Mystery Dungeon is a similar thing, right? Where you play over as a Pokemon and you get to see like the whole
Yeah,
story. And I was like, that's
yeah.
really cool. And I wish they would expand on that. The difference being in Pokemon Rumble that you would fight against other Pokemon at, like in a real life wild scenario where you run into a Pokemon that's stronger and you have to beat them in order to survive. It's like stuff like that. Like I think I had gotten Charizard, or no, not Charizard, Charmeleon and Charmander, and I had to fight against. I think it was a Magneton, but it was like you have to do stuff like that as the Pokemon, and then you move on to the next level. I was like, that would be so cool if they added a feature like that again over to Nintendo Switch, where you get to play over as, let's say, like a Squirtle or even a Riolu and just
hmm
play through and see that. Like I think that would be a really cool and a good idea for Nintendo to expand on.
Yeah, I think they definitely need to dip into more of like the side games. Like if they had a game like you were describing, and more like a like an action game where you explore as the Pokemon in a world where it's not just recycled elements. Like if they made a new thing out of it, that would be incredible. But they keep sticking to what sells, and like they could advance like the game mechanics and the battling, but instead they rather just make a new gimmick for the game. like with Z moves or Mega Evolution. Even though I like Mega Evolution, it's still just a
Yeah,
gimmick, you know.
Gigantamax.
I hate Gigantamax is the worst one, I think.
I find it pretty dumb. It's like, oh, you go into a weird den and suddenly your Pokemon
I
becomes huge.
Yeah, I just think it's the laziest. Like I don't even care about how it like plays into the gameplay. It's just lazy. Like
Yeah,
uh
Mega Evolution was cool for me. Honestly, it made like you have to have your Pokemon hold a certain item, and then it turns like I think for me, I think Charizard X was
oh dude, of
that had the
course.
coolest
Dude,
design.
he was the he was the coolest. I played X and Y, and I specifically picked X because I was like, I'm cool and I'm edgy, and I like Charizard when he's black and has blue flames and spikes. Yeah, but he's still my favorite out of the two between Charizard X and Charizard Y.
Oh, I picked Charizard Y. That was the worst mistake I made in my life.
I know. I remember finding out how he looked like. I was like, he looks dumb.
Oh, dude,
Like,
he looks so
I don't know if I was
terrible.
just a stupid little kid. But I was just like, this looks dumb.
I was like, I don't know for me too. Honestly, I preferred Xerneas over Avelta. I think that
I like them both, but I slightly preferred Xerneas. I think.
yeah, because I looked over it and I was like, Avelta looks cool, but Xerneas, like, dude, looks awesome. Like, I was like, ooh, I don't know. I think X was the
And
superior game.
there's very little of a difference, but
That is
I
true.
get where you're coming from.
uh,
I think. Oh, but wasn't Mewtwo Y better though?
was that the mini? I think that was the mini version of Mewtwo. Yeah,
Yeah, and
yeah,
he was way better.
I
Like
do
than
remember that.
because he just was more psychic, and then they were like, let's make Mewtwo psychic fighting for the other one, and then he has an incredible disadvantage.
You remember when everybody was speculating Pokemon Z and was saying that Zygarde was going to be the main legendary of that game?
Yeah, and then they're just like, I don't know, let's just put him in Sun and Moon, I guess,
Oh,
and they
dude.
did.
I was honestly, I remember I sold my Pokemon Y because I was like, I want this new Pokemon Z game that's coming out. All the YouTubers and everybody that was covering it were so sure that the speculation was correct, and I was like, okay, you know what? I'm going for this Pokemon Z game. And then it never came out, and I was like, well, I have money for Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire now.
Yeah, and it's a good that game's a good investment. I love that game.
I'm sad that I
Like,
don't have it anymore.
yeah, me too. Me too. I
Honestly,
can't believe I gave away all my 3DS games.
I can't believe I gave away my cartridge with all of my Pokemon. I had a Deancey, I had a Hoopa, I had a Volcanion, I had a 3 level 100 Arceuses on that account.
Yeah,
I had a
I
full.
had a.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I had like
Easy
three
go.
boxes dedicated to legendaries.
Yeah, dude. Oh, I remember in X and Y because I would just keep X as my main game, like my OG account, and then I would go onto Y and just replay the story over and over, so I keep getting Mewtwo's. So I just had a whole box full of Mewtwo's.
Oh my god. Was that a glitch?
No, it was just me playing the game over and over and over again to get more Pokemon.
Yeah,
And yeah, I don't know why I did that. I didn't do anything with the Mewtwo's. I just wanted people to look in awe, I guess.
honestly, dude, I would have traded those. A lot of people, surprisingly, a lot of people would do trades for Mewtwo's. I remember that someone, and I was really surprised by this trade. I got offered a Meloetta and a Genesect for two Mewtwo Ys.
Oh, dude, I remember I made the stupid mistake of trying to the stupid mistake of trying to like get the complete Pokedex for X and Y. Like
Oh
you
no!
know, because they in that game you could catch every Pokemon. Well, at least
Yeah,
you could send it to your game, unlike recent Pokemon titles. But but it was cool because the global trading system was awesome, and you could look for the specific Pokemon that you wanted, and it was usually there, and it would be decent trades too. Like people weren't too ridiculous. It wasn't like, oh yeah, I want a Articuno, or you know, I don't know, something stupid.
Dude, I see. I remember when I got into like the top peak of my trading when I had all the legendaries. I had a lot of Pokemon. Taking granted, I never completed my Pokedex. I just wanted all the legendaries. I didn't care about the Pokedex when I was a kid. I
Oh, dude, I was obsessed, dude. I wanted that whole Pokedex cleared. I wanted the satisfaction of looking through and seeing it all filled. Oh, I was such an OCD kid.
see. I was OCD about legendaries. I remember when I gave away my level 100 Arceus for a DNC, I cried because I was like, I should I have done that? I remember that I said I traded normal. I ain't giving you the plate because I remember how rare fairy plates were, and I made Arceus a fairy type with the plate.
Hmm.
And I was like,
Yeah,
I'm not giving the plate away. You can have the Arceus at that point because you're giving me a Deante, which technically isn't even supposed to be in the game. But
yeah,
I remember I would run into trades. I don't know how rare level 100 Arceus was anymore because I swear every time I got into a trade with people online, that the first thing that they would pop up was a level 100 Arceus, and I'd be like, "Oh, you have one too. I guess I can't trade mine over."
yeah. And I don't know, with like, there's such a big hacking community with the Pokemon games too. Like, especially the handheld games, like 3DS and below.
Yeah,
You can just get programmed to like, oh yeah, let me get a shiny Mewtwo and a, you know, whatever you want.
as a person who has a hacked DSi, I can confirm.
You can confirm. Illegal activities are awesome.
Hey, when all the Pokemon events are gone now because they're all been shut down, I gotta find a way somehow to get that silver flute to get Arceus and whatever else I need to get Meloetta and Genesect in black.
Okay, yeah, those older games, it's like I can't reverse time, so I remember Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. I was super like hot on it. Like I remember when they announced that they're gonna do Shiny Rayquaza, and I got so hyped.
Actually, I didn't hear about that. What happened in there?
They just, I remember it was one of the first few like Pokemon events they had, and it was just a shiny Rayquaza, and it was so beautiful because it's just Rayquaza but black. It's dude. Oh, I'm looking at him right now on Google Images. He's beautiful. He's my boy. I love
Wait, could
him.
you give him the Mega Evolution Orb?
Yeah. No, no. It because Rayquaza didn't have it. Because remember in the story, it was like this stone, and then he ate it. So
Oh, yeah.
yeah, so you mega evolve that Rayquaza, and then you could also give him an extra item, which is so broken and stupid. I loved it so much.
I remember that was the one bad thing to freaking Mega Evolutions. They had to hold the dumb orb in order to do it.
Yeah.
And I remember everybody was
That's
like,
why that's
"Screw
why it
this."
made it a good trade off. It made it a good trade off for like competitive play. Because, only one Pokemon can mega evolve, so you're only gonna give one Pokemon it, so which one do you give it? It's a good I like that meta with super not super mega evolutions.
Yeah, thinking about all of this, though, I haven't been to E3 a lot. Has Pokemon been revealed at E3 and stuff like that? I know it's a gaming convention, but I haven't heard too much about it.
Well, E3 isn't here this year.
F in the chat for our boys.
Yeah, of course they're not gonna have E3. Come on.
Casually, just a convention in the middle of a coronavirus, and everybody shows up.
Well, it doesn't really matter because like Nintendo has proven that like all you have to do is do a digital event and people will go wild. Like like at first their directs, like when people were first like, oh, they're not gonna do their presentations anymore at E3, that's disappointing. But then like they started making more and more directs, and then they started becoming better and better. And I think when they finally reached a point of like, oh wow, these directs are amazing, was around the time of Smash 4, because the way they did hype for Smash 4 was so good, you know?
I'm sad.
They revealed every extra character with like such grace, you know? The
Yeah.
CG animations that made us think, oh, we're gonna get Subspace 2. Oh, what poor naive minds we were.
Honestly, Subspace Emissary has to be one of the best story modes that Smash Bros. Has ever had. Like,
Y- You know, everyone gives crap to Brawl, but like Zero has said it himself. Like that's one of his favorite Smash games, just because it's not a bad game. It's just a transition from Melee to Brawl that people were like, this is a bad game. You know?
uh, I still remember everybody whining about Meta Knight broken, and it's completely justified. Meta Knight was
Yeah,
nuts.
it is totally justified.
It was.
I think I think they should have tourneys without Meta Knight and without Ice Climbers, and just leave a tournament just for them.
I rem-
Just for the people who think chain grabbing is okay. Just for the people who think camping on either side of the ledge with Meta Knight's okay. Like
Oh,
they just need to go into a pit together and have their toxicity just
I
you know.
remember when all the pro players dropped their mains. I remember Leo. Who did he play? I don't remember him playing melee. But I remember when Leo immediately hopped in. He picked up Meta Knight immediately, and as soon as Smash 4 came, everybody dropped Meta Knight.
Of course they did. He got nerfed. They made him a reasonable character. Like,
Oh,
that's the thing with Smash Ultimate that I like is that every character pretty much has their gimmicks, but at a player level, they're all pretty even. Like you can say, oh yeah, this character is much easier to use, but like anyone can pick their favorite character and do well in a fight,
yeah,
which is pretty admirable for a game. You know what I mean?
yeah. It's probably one of the most balanced games that Smash has had.
And it sounds funny saying that Smash Ultimate is balanced, but it truly is. Out of like most of the Smash games, yeah, pretty balanced. Like um for Smash 64, Kirby ruled the meta and there's no stopping that, you know? His hitboxes were huge and crazy and disjointed and disgusting. And then Melee is like, oh yeah, only Fox and Falco, they're the only ones with those specific movement options. Of course they're the best, you know? And then it's like Smash Brawl, Meta Knight, Smash 4, Bayonetta, Cloud, pretty much any DLC character. And
Uh,
Smash Ultimate's pretty good. It's pretty even. It's pretty. I don't
Joke.
know. I think there's controversial characters, but people don't care as much anymore.
Yeah, I remember Joker almost tipped the ledge when everybody was like, "Oh, Joker's freaking broken. He can get a counter after a certain amount of time and taking damage." Like, that's so screwed. And then I remember everybody
He
just
just
let it go
yeah.
because when he doesn't have arson, honestly, it's pretty difficult to get kills with him. His
He's
only
a light
kill
horse.
option
No,
is back air, at least for me.
yeah, I respect Jokers. Honestly, they're skillful. Like there is a lot of tech with Joker, with like drop down up airs and grab combos and things that are way beyond my control. I'm just a simple Bowser main who side Bs, but I
Uh,
know what I like. Okay.
Now that we talk about all these DLC characters, we've been having Nintendo's been teasing us for the
Oh
22nd.
God, we can't talk about this. Oh no.
How broken is this arms character gonna be? I mean, I've heard that the range is gonna be insane because it's an arms character. That's their whole gimmick, where they can extend their arms and all that stuff. And it's like makes me think if they give them a longer forward smash than Belmont, people might actually be pissed.
I don't think so because Sakurai and the whole team over that developed Smash Brothers, they're very, very good at making the characters feel like they're straight from their game. And if you go look at ARMS, they're like you're mostly grounded or you're staying in one spot when you shoot your fist across this arena. So I think it's gonna have like super delay. Like when you send out a fist, you better hope that it hits, or else it's just gonna leave you open for attack.
Yeah, it's probably gonna have a lot of end lag. I mean, and now that I'm looking at it, like I'm looking at some articles right now, like there's specific arms characters, so that means that they're definitely gonna have different move sets.
No, yeah, I there's only gonna be one arms character, and I don't know who they're gonna pick. Like, I don't know their names, but there's there's generic boy, generic girl, then there's girl with ramen arms for some reason, and then there's a girl that doesn't have arms but hair's arms. Like she doesn't
Oh
like use her
yeah,
actual arms. She just kind of stays there sassy, and she's like, waifu.
I can imagine putting her in there and just having her recover from her own hair. That'll be her
If
own
if they
recovery.
put if they put her in, ooh dude, that's gonna be ooh.
So I'm wondering how the community is gonna receive it because I remember when Byleth came out, everybody was fuming.
Okay, they're gonna be very toxic about it, but it's ridiculous. Can I go on a rant right now for a minute about Smash Brothers?
Screw it, let's go.
This is Sakurai's last game with Ultimate. All right, he could have stopped at making a game where it had the same amount of characters as like Brawl, where you only have a few characters and a few new ones, right? He could have gone Smash 4 route where it's like, oh, we're going to design a whole bunch of new characters because it's awesome, but we're going to leave out some favorites just because we don't have enough time. But he decided we're going to have every single character. And then he decided, yeah, we're going to do DLC again. And he said, you know what? Screw it. I love working on this game so much. I love literally starving myself and not getting sleep for this game so much that I'm going to develop another DLC pack with not just 5 fighters, but 6. So any character that we get, we should just be thankful that Sakurai is still alive to provide us with those
Yeah,
characters.
yeah.
Like, come on. We got Banjo. There's no need to cry anymore. Who in the hell thought we were gonna get Joker? You know,
Yeah, I can definitely see that. Like, yeah, I'm pretty grateful for it. You,
I'm satisfied with the characters that they after Banjo. I was like, yes, this is the perfect Smash game in my mind. This is all I need, and they're making more. You know,
yeah,
it's insane the dedication. But it's sad to see this virus take a hold of the development cycle for the that team. Because did you see they also after they tweeted out, oh yeah, we're gonna have an announcement with the armed character, and then they tweeted out like there's gonna be no other character reveals at this thing.
oof,
So we're only gonna get an arms fighter. We're not gonna know what the next DLC fighter is. We're not gonna know what character 2 is for the next
that's a
DLC pack.
rip. Yeah,
It's just because they haven't developed nearly enough. I'm
yeah.
sure they would. I'm sure that's why the arms like announcement when they're first like, yeah, our next fighter for Super Smash Brothers is a character from Arms. You know how disappointing that was? Like, I'm sure they planned a more hype reveal, but the Rona man, the Rona is just getting everyone, and it's sad. It's really sad.
Can't be as disappointing as having a Fire Emblem signal appear on your screen for a DLC character.
Hey, 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 hey! At least they didn't make Marth like like 0.15. Like
Yeah,
like we got to be thankful for that. They actually made this character's interesting.
yeah. See, I'm interested too. I want to see what direction they take with them, and I'm grateful for either way because I think that DLC characters are always going to be hyped because I think the gimmick with this time is that the DLC characters from last game were incorporated into the ordinary characters. They just became a part of the pack, so everybody that's DLC now is someone new being introduced. And I think that's
Yeah,
always something interesting. Like we never know, like I'm hoping, me personally, just because I'm a freaking Castlevania fan, that Alucard gets included into the game, but we don't know. Someone else could get included, and that's still cool, like Like you said, nobody was expecting Joker, Persona 5 character, anime. But you know what? It made for a pretty
But
good
you know what?
character.
You know what? Daddy Sakurai said, you know what? Persona 5 is a really good game. I really like the music. And he just said, you know what? I'm Sakurai. I can do whatever I want. And he just put Joker in Smash, and it's awesome. Like, you can tell how much passion that man, like, every decision he makes is based off of passion that he has in him. You know?
Yeah, definitely, man. I think yeah, it's definitely, dude. I'm loving. I mean, I still love the way Smash Bros. And how everything works out. Like, it's really cool just seeing all this stuff. Like I think that even the ordinary characters, like they added new characters in for the ordinary characters, Belmont. Were all three
No,
of the
yeah.
young links in the previous games? I don't remember.
Um, yeah, Smash 4 had Toon Link and regular Link, but they dropped Young Link, and then they just added Young Link from Melee to Ultimate.
Yeah, because I was like, that's pretty interesting having all three of them back in and then adding like, Belmont's characters that we haven't seen before to things like
I
this.
think Belmont was awesome. It was a hype.
I
Just because it was such a staple series, and it's just like, oh yeah, it makes sense why they're here.
Yeah, I honestly I like their moveset from playing the Belmont games. I think it feels really original, and I like
Hmm.
that with this. Although this is kind of bad for people that face Belmonts because it's one of their main features that you can angle the whip. They took that from Simon's game, I'm pretty sure, and I think that was one of the more interesting things that I saw in the Belmont, where you could angle your whip downwards, upwards. It was like that's so cool to see that.
Yeah, it really is. Like, just how Sakurai like takes these characters and just makes them seem so natural. You know, it's he's really an artist with that type of stuff.
Yeah. Hey, I want to see though. I think we'll have to stay tuned for the 22nd, 2 days from now, and see
Oh yeah,
which
dude.
arms
I'm
character.
gonna watch it. Yeah, I'm gonna watch it live for sure.
Yeah, I don't have arms or I don't have Smash anymore, but I still want to see how it's gonna go because I'm still interested in playing the game sooner or later.
And I'm wondering if Sakurai is gonna make any mention of the next character, because I know they said they're not gonna announce it, but I wonder if he's just gonna be like, "All right, listen, guys, we know you're starved for Smash content. You know, like I hope he just acknowledges, like, hey, we're having a rough time. Just chill out. We're still trying for you. You know."
Yeah. Honestly, I think what, I'm calling it one of the last DLC characters. Sakurai's gonna do it for the meme. He's finally gonna put in Waluigi. Screw the fact that he has a trophy already. They're gonna put in
Yes,
Waluigi.
please. Wow, we need the Wavolution. Wow.
I think he would actually be a really good character.
He would be so fun. Like I have a there's so many like fan Smash games with excellent like Waluigi like character like their
Super Smash
fighting
Flash.
movesets. Yes, dude. When he
Oh,
throws the dice and it's just it's such cool mechanic.
yeah, dude.
And but I do not think they're gonna put any assist trophy characters in because I don't know. They unless Sakurai really just wants to mess with us that hard, I don't think he would. Because whenever they reveal assist trophies, like when they first revealed all the assist trophies, they're strategic to like just cross out characters that people want. You know, like as soon as you saw Shadow, hopes were crushed.
I,
As soon as you saw Alucard, hopes are crushed. You know,
they did my
as
boy
soon as you see
Skirty.
your boy, as soon as you see your boy Waluigi, dreams and hopes are crushed. But it's okay. It's okay. I just hope that the new characters are even cooler than what we could have hoped for. You know,
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. Everybody has been expecting Shadow since Super Smash Bros. Brawl. I remember that. Oh my
but they're
god.
not. They're not. They're
Uh,
gonna. If anything, they're gonna release Tails or Eggman before they ever do that.
that I swear, if they make Eggman like the same exact design that
I would
freaking
be.
Bowser
I
Jr. has,
no. They would make him because he's a tall boy, and he runs around in the Sonic games. I would love to see Eggman, honestly. I
Oh,
would be hyped
actually,
for Eggman
on foot, yes. If he's in a
because
stupid little
he'd be
thing,
running around and have gadgets.
I was about
I
to say,
think he might have a recovery that does that, but like,
probably. I was about to say though, if he's in that stupid little thing, that little egg pod or whatever the hell it is, the whole time, I'm going to be mad, man. That's just another remake of Bowser Jr. I'm not no shame to Bowser Jr. He's a cool
yeah,
character, but it's like why keep it?
yeah, I agree with that. I would love to see, but just the big egg walking around. I would love to see that. Honestly, I would be hyped. Like I wouldn't even. It would just be for the memes, and I would be hyped.
I'm not gonna lie though, I could also see Tails, dude, and I would be very excited for that.
I'd be like, oh, cool, he deserves the spot. You know, I wouldn't necessarily be hyped, but I would be glad he's in the game, just because it seems complete. You know, Mario, Luigi, Sonic, and Tails.
Yeah, our boy Sonic's been
Even
lonely for
though,
too long.
yeah, Sonic is just chilling there alone, and so is Wario. It's sad. It's sad. And that's my phrase for this podcast. It's just sad.
Well, I think we can leave it off with that. I think that we've gone over everything today, and I think this Arms character is going to be awesome. There's still a lot more that we have to wait from for the DLC characters. After this, we still have 5 more coming, like you said, and
I I I honestly think they're gonna go like more into the first party characters this DLC pack. Like
I hope so.
Byleth
Yeah,
Byleth was a sign. It's like, oh, they're dipping back into the actual Nintendo characters, not just, third party, third party, third party. You know?
yeah,
It's I and then Arms just reconfirms that feeling. I think we might have one third party to make it really hype. But other
yeah.
than that, mm,
Yeah, but I think that's it for today, guys. Thank you guys for tuning in. This was the podcast with me, your boy Lima, and Daniel. Thank you for being here today with us, Daniel. This was an awesome podcast, and I enjoyed doing it. We'll see you guys
really,
later.
really, I thought it was garbage. Caesar, leave it in,
Yeah, leave it in the recording. Don't do this to us. All right, we'll see
please.
you all
Don't,
later. Everybody, by
please. I
the
don't.
way, do exactly what Daniel told us not to do. We're going to hate on Sakurai. All right, bye.
Hey, hey,